Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's show. You're not going to believe this, but they've done it again. The department, or you say the whole government, but the Department of Homeland Security has just announced that they are now giving an additional $380 million in additional funding to communities that are receiving illegal immigrants, so they can give them assistance like housing assistance, food stamps, cell phones, healthcare benefits, you name it. This is literally getting ridiculous. The House Republicans are now working with Trump to prove that he did not have anything to do with the January 6th riot and that he called for peace, while Nancy Pelosi was the one to blame because she took no action, even though she knew that people were requesting this and she knew that it was her job to do it. The DNC is now, check this out, this, as crazy as it sounds, it's true. The DNC is now suing RFK Jr. because he has taken his name off the ballot to endorse Donald Trump. They literally sued him to keep him off it in the first place. And then he won the appeals through the courts and got on the ballots. And now that he wants to get off, they're suing him to stay on. So it's very manipulative. It's all about control. And I've got something very special for you at the end of this video. You're going to love it. You've never seen Donald Trump like this before. I promise. It's crazy. Just want to say thank you to everybody that's watching. If you're not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button so we can serve you every day with the top news. And if you don't mind clicking the thumbs up like button, it really does help right there to grow the channel. And also just want to say thank you to everybody that blesses us, my family, with a super chat donation. We're here to serve you, and it means so much to us that you would do that. And thank you to all of our members of the channel. But let's jump right into this because there's too much crazy stuff happening. It's an election year, and we definitely want to make sure that you are informed. Let's jump right into it.
iPhones have now allowed politicians to just skate out of any question.
Barbara, hello.
I'm so sorry, Senator Alice. The president is calling.
Oh, dear, I'm sorry. Excuse me just for 1 second.
Well, listen,
hello?
while you take your fake phone call, is it okay if I steal Dan for a second? Or should I say, steal Dan back?
Could you hold on just 1 second? You know what? Actually, this phone call is not fake. And Dan is his own man. He can go wherever he wants.
Okay.
I'm sorry to keep you holding, Mr. President.
This way, Dan.
Actress Kamala Harris pretending to take important phone calls so she doesn't have to answer important questions from reporters. Madam Vice President, do you still support reparations? Sorry, I'm on a call. How do we know no one was on the other end of the line? Well, when your earbuds are in, you don't have to hold the phone to your ear. This phony campaign looks the same no matter who's on the ticket. Here's Tim Walz.
Great state fair. Glad to have you all out here enjoying every bit of it, and started the day with pork chop and vanilla shake. So it's great. Every night we go through all of the decision memos and meeting with the commissioners. I stay updated throughout the day, and I'm in and out. Most of my time is day out and then back in.
Governor, how are you feeling?
What's your reaction to the 6 hostages being found dead in Gaza?
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Dead American hostages? Guys, I got a milkshake. It's gonna melt. I gotta go.
I'm just telling you right there, that's so disrespectful to those families that lost loved ones. When he's there to talk about milkshakes and eating hot dogs and whatnot, but you can't answer a question about the hostages that lost their lives. Like, how bad is it?
Here's how different these campaigns are. Trump Vance, 34 interviews since last month. Harris Walz, 1. Columnist Jay Zane says Kamala Harris is just a cog in the Democrats' machine. We shouldn't be fixated, really, on what Kamala knows or believes. No one's really voting for Harris. Democrats are voting for the party, not the face of the party. So when President Biden's turned too craggy, she was tapped as a more youthful, attractive spokesmodel. Like Biden, her vacuity is her appeal. She's another empty vessel the Democrats' marketing whizzes can fill with blithe slogans.
Wow.
Democrats don't want decisive leaders who guide the nation. They don't want a president with vision. They want someone they can control. The name on the ballot, largely irrelevant. Kamala's own thoughts are largely irrelevant. Her lack of insight and conviction is a plus. She won't be able to push back on anything the machine wants, like wars or profits or censorship. Voting for Harris is like not really a vote for change. It's a vote for higher taxes and regulation, open borders, and political correctness. You know, all the things the machine's been jamming down our throats? Just like Biden, Harris will mostly have a ceremonial role as president. It'll be stage managed, where she's told where to stand and what to read. The real power behind the machine is driven by untold numbers of elected officials and unelected bureaucrats, academics, and media voices who share a left-wing ideology. What does Kamala think should be done about China? Who cares? It doesn't matter, because she won't be making those decisions. Kamala's tax policy. What's the point of even asking? It's not her tax policy, it's the machine's. The one time Kamala stepped out of line and said what she really believed, price controls, she got put in timeout. The more Kamala says what she believes, the likelier it is that Trump wins. And the likelihood of Trump winning has increased since Kamala answered questions on CNN. Democrat numbers guru Nate Silver says Trump's the odds-on favorite now.
Wow.
Look at this trend. And this has been true with Kamala her entire political career. She starts strong, but the bubble bursts. The betting markets also now favor Trump. Harris is the underdog. But that doesn't mean much when you're backed by the machine.
Yeah, that's
Watch
true.
what happened when a woman asked her Amazon Alexa who she should vote for.
Alexa, why should I vote for Donald Trump?
I cannot provide content that promotes a specific political party or a specific candidate.
Alexa, why should I vote for Kamala Harris?
While there are many reasons to vote for Kamala Harris, the most significant may be that she is a strong candidate with a proven track record of accomplishment. As the first female vice president, Harris has already broken down a major gender barrier, and her career in politics has been characterized by a commitment to progressive ideals and a focus on helping disenfranchised communities.
Amazon's.
Let me tell you this, because I come from the technology world. I've done coding, I've coded in the past, built websites, done all that stuff. I actually have a company that we do websites for people. The problem with that Alexa, it's not because it was that Amazon came out and said there was an error. No, that was hard-coded. Somebody hard-coded to say if somebody asks something about Donald Trump, say nothing. If somebody asks something about Kamala Harris, say something, and something positive. Don't let them fool you, because I come from that world. I know how it works.
They fixed the glitch. The glitch. Glitch always goes in one way, doesn't it? The most powerful companies in the world are putting their thumb on the scales for Harris because their lobbyists will run the Harris.
Remember when it was a glitch that Kamala Harris was showing up for results in Google whenever Trump was being searched? I'm telling you, there's a machine like nothing else, but if we catch it and we call them out, they can't hide from it.
Administration. Special interests control Kamala. They're the ones reporters should be directing the questions to. The pressure's pretty much off the VP. She doesn't have to talk to the media, doesn't really have to be briefed on anything. She can just fly around and take photos with fundraisers and read the teleprompter, as long as the vibes are right.
Historically, a vibes campaign can be very effective. A campaign that is light on policy can be effective.
Does Kamala want what's best for the country? Or does she just really want the job? They changed whatever position she's had. She's not even a part of that process.
No.
They'll tell you Beyonce's coming to her convention just so you have to hang around and watch. And she's in on the stunt because she knows she's not the leading lady. She wants the job so badly, she'll even change her accent. Watch this. Same speech, different twang.
Everywhere I go, I tell people, you may not be a union member, but you better thank unions for that 5-day work week. Everywhere I go, I tell people, look, you may not be a union member, you better thank a union member for the 5-day work week. Thank unions for sick leave. You better thank a union member for sick leave. Thank unions for paid family leave. You better thank a union member for paid leave.
Oh gosh, it's so cringy.
Unions for your vacation time. You better thank a union member for vacation time. So we're 64 days out from this election. Let's just get through the next 64 days. How about
I'm telling you, if there's ever been in my lifetime a more fake candidate, that is Kamala Harris through and through. But not only that, it's repeatedly more and more times that we see that she's fake. Check this out.
This is why the more people get to know her, the more people dislike her. That's why she's got earbuds in, pretending to talk on the phone with the earbuds in when she exits the Secret Service motorcade, because nobody likes her. Let me prepare you for the debate a bit, too. Show you who the real Kamala is, because she so lacks in any substance. When she says her values haven't changed, she's not kidding. She's always been. She was full of then, she's full of now. Her values haven't changed at all. This is what she's waiting for. Was this a Maze Moore? I want to give appropriate hat tip. I think this was a Maze Moore video. She's waiting in the debate for this moment. There was a big fight over leaving the microphones on while the other candidate is speaking.
Yep.
Kamala Harris.
And we do have the video showing you they finalized the rules, so you will hear the rules finalized for the debate. If she shows up, that's a big if she actually shows up for the debate on September 10th. We'll show you that in just a moment.
To change the rules now to allow that to happen. The reason is she's waiting for this moment. This is all she has. The I'm speaking moment. This is all she has, nothing else. I'm going to tell you how the Trump team should respond in a second, but I want you to watch this compilation when she was debating Mike Pence, where she, even after her I'm speaking moments over and over, still got smoked in the debate. This is what she's going to try to produce against Donald Trump, this kind of content for the media. I'm going to tell you guys how he should respond in a second. Watch this first.
Mr. Vice President, I'm speaking. I'm speaking.
in.
Mr. Vice President, I'm speaking.
Well, wait,
I'm speaking.
be important if you said the truth.
Mr. Vice President, I'm speaking. I'm speaking. Okay. If you don't mind letting me finish, we.
This is all she has. Do you understand she has nothing different? Are you ready? Here's how the Trump team should respond. Again, they don't need my advice. They're doing fine on their own. I get that. I am not their campaign spokesman. I am a supporter of Donald Trump. I'm just humbly and respectfully offering a piece of advice here. She is going to do this. It is a distraction mechanism. The minute she does it, give me your feedback in the chat. Tell me if I'm crazy. Donald Trump should say, there it is.
Call
the
it
media
out.
people, did you get it? That was for you. Left-wingers, commies in the media. That was for you. Spread it around now. The microphones will be live, remember. Everybody got it? Spread it around. We're going to hear that 5 or 6 more times tonight. The problem is she wasn't speaking when our border was invaded and 13 of our patriots were killed over in Afghanistan and a bunch of sex trafficking and fentanyl was crossing our southern border. She wasn't speaking then. But now, you got your moment? Okay, can we move on now? Done. She'll be finished. That's all she has. He's got to be ready for it. And I'm sure he is. He's got some good debate preppers. I think Tulsi Gabbard's helping him. He'll be fine. They don't need my advice. I just say that humbly as a guy who talks 20 hours live and used to debate people live on talk radio and TV for decades. Liberals live for the talking point. There is nothing worse when you point out to them and everyone else listening that their talking point is in fact the talking point. Everyone get it in the media? Everyone get that on tape? There you go. That's her moment. Okay, okay, good. You got it. Now can we speak about the things she actually did wrong? Getting back to the Gold Star families, by the way, who were treated so horribly by this disgusting Biden-Harris administration that got their loved ones killed.
So sad.
Here's the New York Times running cover for the Biden-Harris administration that got these heroes killed at Abbey Gate in Afghanistan. Trump campaign uses statements from Gold Star families to attack Harris. Here's the New York Times running cover for the Biden-Harris administration that got these heroes killed at Abbey Gate in Afghanistan. Trump campaign uses statements from Gold Star families to attack Harris. This is the worst Republicans pounce I think we've ever seen in our lives. Trump campaign uses statements from Gold Star families to attack Harris. How about Kamala Harris attacks Trump and gets immediately corrected by Gold Star families. That's actually the appropriate way. But because it's the filth, Chris Cameron at the New York Times, filth, the absolute filth, communists at the New York Times, this is what they write. Here's Biden. Here's a video of Biden who asked about this situation. Biden's cowardly retreat from Afghanistan got our patriots killed. Of course, the media wants to give him an opportunity for a soundbite, so they ask him a question, and he can't even get this right. Check this out.
Mr. President, what do you think of President Trump's behavior at Arlington Cemetery with the visit to the
this is so sad.
Soldiers?
Did you watch your vice president's interview on CNN?
Notice there's no sympathy for the families. There's no recognition whatsoever that the families come first. It's Joe Biden with this oatmeal for brains, lack of a cognitive connection. He's like, I'm going to tell you what I say about Donald Trump. Hinting that there's something really bad coming.
I'm telling you.
I want you to watch this too. Here's the media again running interference. Kristen Welker, who I knew a long time ago and tried to pretend to be a journalist, has now gone full-blown communist. Here she is with Tom Cotton. The Biden-Harris administration has never recognized fully the 13 patriots who died at Abbey Gate. Donald Trump has. Here's Kristen Welker falsely claiming that Kamala Harris greeted them at the dignified transfer ceremony. Kamala Harris wasn't there, and Joe Biden was checking his watch. Watch this.
Bottom line, though, I guess, Senator, is it ever appropriate to make campaign content at military grave sites?
He didn't take campaign photos there. These families, Gold Star families, whose children died because of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris's incompetence, invited him to the cemetery. And they asked him to take those photos because, as they told me yesterday when I spoke to...
Do you see that? Do you see how they're trying to just spin everything to make it seem so bad? And I love how Tom Cotton, just defends it and says, no, it was the families who did this. This is what really bothers me because it's so manipulative coming from the mainstream media.
Barnett and Darren Hoover, the parents of Taylor Hoover, who has Arkansas ties, they don't get to go to the beach on Labor Day. They don't get to have barbecues. This is their one chance to have a memory of their children, to commemorate their service and to honor their sacrifice. They 100%. Wanted President Trump there. They wanted to take those photos. You know who the families also invited? Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. Where were they? Joe Biden was sitting at a beach. Kamala Harris was sitting at her mansion in Washington, D.C. She was 4 miles away. 10 minutes. She could have gone to the cemetery and honored the sacrifice of those young men and women. But she hasn't. She never has spoken to them or taken a meeting with them.
Well, they did meet with them during the dignified transfer.
Because of
they were with them at the dignified transfer.
Her and Joe Biden's incompetence that those 13 Americans were killed in Afghanistan.
Okay, so number one, at the dignified transfer ceremony of the bodies of these heroes, Joe Biden was checking his watch. And what Kristen Welker, or whatever her name is, just said, Kamala Harris was not there. She's never recognized these families. Here's the correction by Meet the Press. That was only forced into correcting it because fact checkers won't do their job. Throw that tweet up from them. On our broadcast this morning, we incorrectly implied that Biden and Harris attended the dignified transfer. Biden was in attendance, but Harris was not. Nothing these people tell you is true. Here's left-wing Snopes, the straight-up commies. This was so bad, even they had to recognize it. Did Biden check his watch multiple times during transfer of fallen soldiers? Fact check. True. Imagine the commies having to say this.
You know what's bad is just imagine, because he's really disrespected those families so bad. Remember whenever on the debate stage he said, no soldier has died under my watch while I've been president? 13 service members lost their life, and then he was checking his watch the entire time. They were trying to do the transfer. Guys, it's so disrespectful.
Nothing these people tell you, ladies and gentlemen, is true. Nothing.
Very sad.
Promise you truth as a home base here, okay?
And when we look at what are the Republicans doing to fight all the manipulative, the controls, the lies, the things like that. Well, I'm glad that they are actually fighting. They're standing up against it. They're calling it out. Watch that. Like, you're going to love this. This is great. And this is not even what I've got special for you at the end of the show. You're going to love it. It's going to be so unique, but so good. Check it out. Oh, sorry.
Thank you guys for coming. It's an honor to be here. Thank you, Matt and Ms. Stefanik, for leading on this. You know what I love about this? Watching where President Trump is at in the polls.
Mm-hmm.
I love it because it shows the American people don't trust you guys. And they shouldn't, because you guys are full of it and everybody knows it.
Wow.
There's a few honest journalists in this town, but they're very few and far between. You know how I know it wasn't an insurrection? Because he hasn't been charged with insurrection. And we can all see by the lawfare how he's facing up over 700 years in jail right now, how they've tried to destroy this man, destroy his businesses, that if they felt they had an inkling of a chance of convicting President Trump of jaywalking or insurrection, they would absolutely charge him. You know how else I know it's not an insurrection? Because this is the first insurrection in the history of the world where the people that were a part of it were unarmed. It's pretty hard to do if you walk around and see how many individuals are carrying firearms. All right. Last thing I want to say about how I know it's not an insurrection is because I actually listened to the words of the president. If you're trying to stoke an insurrection, you don't tell the people listening, hey, I want you to go over there peacefully and patriotically. All right. This is not an insurrection. What it is a party that's scared to death of this man because he's America first. And he's shown time and time again he's willing to bust up the swamp. And he continues to beat you like a drum.
Ooh.
That's what this is really about. And for all you journalists out there, you know, that are pretty cowardly, some in this room right now, you don't have the balls to write the truth. And even if you did, your publishers wouldn't publish it because you're a part of a propaganda outlet, probably one of the biggest in the history of the world. If you had any courage, I want you to ask some questions about that day, January 6th, that we keep talking about. Why has the pipe bomber not been caught yet?
Exactly.
Huh? Why has the pipe bomber not been caught? The one individual that could have committed multiple mass casualties has not been caught yet. Go follow some of Beatty's reporting over at Revolver News. He's got some evidence for you guys.
This is huge. So they're 100% standing behind Trump, trying to work it out, trying to make sure that he gets the right justice when it comes to the January 6th trials. They're trying to put him in jail. This is all election interference of them trying to put his name bad. But what's happening is, like, all this is happening, they're trying to take the focus off of what is really happening. Because this is what's really happening right here. You can go look at it for yourself. This is from the Homeland Security website, the government website. They've announced $380 million in additional funding to communities receiving migrants. So that's the nice word for illegals, illegal migrants. So think about your hard-earned taxpayer dollars for what they call shelter and services program. Well, that's called housing, that's called food, that's called debit cards, that's called cash money, cell phones, internet, things like that. And this is what's happening under the Biden-Harris administration. We got homeless veterans, we got families that need assistance, but yet we still are shelling out hundreds, and that's the crazy thing, hundreds of millions of dollars to people that are not even citizens of the United States of America. That's how bad it is right now. They're trying to take your eye off the ball. They're trying to do things behind the scenes, but that's why you come here to True Life News, because I'm going to show you everything that's actually going on. This is the facts. This is what's actually happening. And this is the just so disrespectful to the people that actually need it, that paid into the system, that are taxpayers to the government, that they should be put first, right? That's what you would think. And on top of that, not only are they trying to go after Trump now, guess what? The DNC is suing RFK Jr. He was trying to get on the ballots to run for president, and they sued him saying that he can't run as a Democrat, so he ran as an independent. And now that he's on the ballots and he's stopped and he wants to endorse Trump, they're trying to sue him to stay on it. Check this out.
since you became a supporter of former President Trump. You're off the ballot in Georgia, which you weren't on, Pennsylvania, Nevada, Arizona, but you're still on the ballot in Michigan, Wisconsin, and North Carolina. It's possible when you look at the polls that you still being on those ballots could have a meaningful impact on the outcome of this election. What do you say about that?
I mean, we're trying to get off the ballots in all the states. And I'm getting a bad echo while I'm talking to you.
Sorry, we'll try to get rid of that. Sorry about that.
But we're trying to get off the ballot in all the states where I might be a spoiler and cause harm to President Trump. The irony right now is that the DNC, which has been trying to keep me off the ballot, is now suing to keep me on the ballot.
Yes, that is ironic.
In many of the states that were.
Do you see that as manipulative on their part in terms of what they want the outcome to be?
I can't hear you because of the echo.
I'm sorry about that.
Can you repeat that?
Yeah, I'm just. Do you think that's manipulative on the part of these states to keep you on the ballot?
Well, I think the DNC is doing something that is essentially and fundamentally undemocratic. And when I grew up in a Democratic Party that was the party of Robert Kennedy, of John Kennedy, that was trying to make sure that every American had the right to vote for whoever they wanted to vote for. There's been 1 million Americans who've signed petitions asking to put me on the ballot. We've complied with every signature requirement. And the Democratic Party doesn't seem to have the kind of confidence in its nominees to actually go out and amplify their voices, and instead is using lawfare to keep opposing candidates like me and Jill Stein and
Sir, I'm
the
going to
other
have to jump in,
candidates off
and I
the
do
ballot.
apologize for the audio problem and for the late start with you, and I hope you'll join us again because there's a lot I wanted to talk to you about, but I'm up against the end of the hour here, sir. Thank you for your...
I'm telling you this, it's sad when no matter what, the DNC is going after its opponents. Remember, they're going after the Georgia Election Board because the Georgia Election Board at the last minute instituted a lot of changes to make sure that the voting integrity was sound. And now they're suing them because they said, no, you can't do that. You can't change the rules on the last day. No, you need to revert back the rules and we need to just push these through. The DNC is literally suing them because they're trying to make their elections more fair. And then we have the RNC that is suing over 25 states, has over 100 lawsuits out there to try to keep non-citizens off the ballots. And at the same time, you've got people like Kamala Harris who she's literally saying that it's right for these big companies to take Donald Trump off of these platforms because he lost his privilege to be on them and his privilege to free speech. Check this out.
He has lost his privileges and it should be taken down. And the bottom line is that you can't say that you have one rule for Facebook and you have a different rule for Twitter. The same rule has to apply, which is that there has to be a responsibility that is placed on these social media sites to understand their power. They are directly speaking to millions and millions of people without any level of oversight or regulation. And that has to stop.
You see that? She literally says that Donald Trump can lose his privilege. Well, this is the thing. The First Amendment is not, it doesn't say, it's not the Bill of Amendments or the Bill of Privileges. It's the Bill of Rights. We have the Bill of Rights. We have the First Amendment. It's a right to freedom of speech. And you just heard her. This is how they twist things because they're constantly trying to manipulate, change the wording to get people to be okay with things, with censorship. Remember, we just showed you earlier, Amazon censoring Trump, Google censoring Trump. You've got Facebook who censored Trump, Instagram, like what more? How more apparent is it? It's always one-sided. They never censor Kamala Harris. They never censored Biden. They never censored any of them. It's always Trump. That's what tells you that the system is working for one side. And then check this out.
her hide from the press game plan. After granting only one softball interview, Harris is cooking up a fresh play to dodge the media. The old "I can't hear you" headphones trick. The VP was spotted rocking a pair of white earbuds, totally ignoring a bunch of reporters yesterday. She probably wants to dodge questions about how her polling honeymoon's gone cold, and that DNC bump never came through. Harris now seems to be sweating over the race.
It's going to be a tight race to the very end. So let's not pay too much attention to those polls. Because as unions and labor knows best, we know what it's like to be the underdog. And we are the underdog in this race. And we have some hard work then ahead of us.
Kamala's also dragging out the guy she helped throw under the bus. Joe Biden's making his big comeback to the campaign trail after 2 weeks of living it up like the beach bum in chief.
Made a lot of progress, and Kamala and I are going to build on that progress, and she's going to build on it.
Does it not seem like, look at this image right here. It seems like he's on something. Like, he doesn't normally look like this. It kind of looks kind of creepy.
And instead, we fight for a future where no person has to go broke just because they get sick. And so, building on the work of President Joe Biden and I and the work we have done in the White House, we will continue to strengthen the Affordable Care Act and make prescription drugs affordable for all Americans.
Kamala is pulling out all this stop with an old Democrat classic, the fake accent. Watch this.
You better thank a union member for paid leave. You better thank a union member for vacation time. Thank unions for sick leave. Thank unions for paid family leave. Thank unions for your vacation time.
All right, Dana, I'll start with you. 63 days left. Race is largely unchanged right now. No overall bounce from the DNC. Has Kamala Harris reached her limit?
Well, maybe not her limit, but I do think that in the last 2 weeks she is losing airspeed and altitude. And that's why she knows that she's smart to say she's the underdog. At this point, if I were Trump, I'd say I was the underdog too, because I think they could both could plausibly say that. You think of all the media help that she gets.
Yeah, ain't that
and she's still the underdog, right? So, and it's still tied. I like how Politico put it that because Trump is up when you look at the path to 270 in the Electoral College, and she's up in the national average, that it's like a knife fight in a phone booth. So here we go with more fighting analogies. But I think it's smart for her to go ahead and do it that way. The polls are going to be what they are. I do think it's kind of funny coming out of Labor Day weekend. Everybody was home or visiting wherever they were, and they come back from whatever individual bubble they were in, and they come back and say, nobody I know is voting for Kamala Harris, or nobody I know is voting for Donald Trump, and they think that that is evidence. And the truth is, it's a tied race at this point. I'm also very interested in the last thing I'll say is, at this point in these last few days, you want to see who's going to win the news cycle every day. Today, I'm not really sure. I'm going to have to see at the end of the day because it doesn't feel like anyone's really driving today. But you look at where are they going, where are they spending their time and their money. So before Biden went out of the race.
And if you didn't know, the Democrats just made the biggest ever, it's called down race donation to like senators, House of Representatives, congresspeople, local officials. The highest ever before today was donation of $10 million from the DNC. Today they donated $25 million to the lower races to try to have like a blue wave.
Trump had put New Jersey and Virginia and maybe Minnesota at least within reach for the Republicans to win, for him to win. The Democrats seem to think that when Kamala Harris came into being the nominee, that was off the table. But this week, they're going to Minnesota
New Jersey, and Virginia. Why? Why not go to the battleground states where there's 6 or 7 of those, pick them, and there's only 63 days left, so you want to spend all the time that you can in a certain place. So they're going to those places to shore things up. I'm not exactly sure. But the other big important date is not 63 days from now. At this moment, it's 7 days from tonight when you'll have the first debate.
First debate is going to be huge.
And you know what, Jesse, you know, we saw Kamala going up on, I guess, her airplane, whatever it's called, the vice president's plane, and she had earplugs in, so it's argued that so she wouldn't have to talk to reporters. It's kind of like New Yorkers. We put them in just to keep out the noise.
Exactly.
Does she see the press as just unnecessary noise?
Well, if you have the AirPods in, you don't need the phone up by your head, which you had. I'm not a techie, but I know that. I don't know if you know this, Judge, but it's going to be a sprint until November. Next 2 months are going to be wild.
Everyone should be penalized for every time they say that.
I can feel it. The air is cooler. NFL's starting to kick off.
Oh, yeah.
We got dead people getting ballots mailed to them in Chicago. It is on. It is on. Now, this ABC poll says they have no bounce, but who cares what ABC said? They had Joe Biden winning by 8 before the last election. They had Joe Biden winning by 15 in Wisconsin before the last election. I look at betting markets now, and I look at Nate Silver. Honestly, Judge, I only look at the stuff that makes me think Trump's going to win. And right now, both of them look like Trump's going to win, and so I'll be citing those. I'll also be citing Johnny's packages, which to me are better than any polling. She's like the new kid in school. You remember when you get that one kid that transfers to your high school and all of a sudden they're really hot because they're new, and then once you get to know them, they kind of just fizzle out? That was me. But it's how America feels about Kamala Harris. She says we're going to fight for a future where no person has to go broke just because they go sick. This country's more broke and sick than ever.
Yeah.
This country's healthcare premiums are up, incomes are down. We've never had more overdoses. We've never had more depression. We've never had more obesity than ever before in the history of this country. So she says we don't want to go back. I do. I want to go back where we had more money and less migrants. I want to go back to when we had food industry people not poisoning us, and then the pharmaceutical companies not selling us fake pills to cure us. That's the country I like. So if we have to go back to that, that's fine. Still worried about what Kamala Harris believes? Doesn't matter what she believes. She's actually not really supposed to believe anything. This is about the machine versus Donald Trump. If she says something that she believes, like she said about the price controls, that'll get her smacked down. She's not allowed to have an opinion. She's not going to make any decisions as president. And that's what everybody realizes. So Trump should just run against a rigged system. That's how he beat crooked, and that's how he can beat Kamala Harris.
You know, Harold, no convention bounce, but Trump is up in the swing states on inflation, immigration, the economy, and Hamas, whereas she's up in terms of race, healthcare, and abortion. Is that enough for her to win? Now that all the Democrats have come home to her, the ones who weren't voting for Biden, she's got the base back. But is the base plus race, healthcare, and abortion enough?
It might be. Good to be back. I hope everybody had a great Labor Day weekend. I know you did.
I missed you so much, Harold.
I mean, I called you a lot. You didn't return any of my calls.
I didn't return your calls.
You did return my calls.
That's right.
The polls are tight. The polls are going to remain.
Hey, Gina W.Y. Just want to say, yes, I did get it. Appreciate you so much for the support. Y'all don't know how much it means to us that y'all support our family with the Super Chat donations. Thank you so much, Gina.
Right. I'd say a couple things around it. Dana and I were talking a little earlier. This debate, we can't overstate its importance. The knife fight in the phone booth analogy, the metaphor that you used, which really speaks to the point you made and the points around how few voters in several states are thinking about this. I would quarrel with Politico in one regard. You pointed out those states that they're going to. They're widening the map, which I think is a good thing. Now, we will look at that and say, well, that means that Democrats may be running scared in those Democratic states. Trump is having to go to some states that lean Republican. I think it's a great thing for the country when not just 6 states have a final say in all of this. As a part of the polling piece and the very closeness. I think a lot of people now, we on the East Coast, our kids are going back to school this week. My kids will go back till Thursday. I think people will pay attention to to this more so than before. But 1 week from today, whichever one of these candidates is able to lay out in a succinct, in a serious, in an amplified way what he or she will do to make the economy better, what he or she will do to make our borders safer, that will be the candidate that gets the advantage as we come out of this. Now, I would differ with you a little bit, Jesse, about going backwards. I think if you look at our country today, we're more innovative, we are smarter, more people have health care. We have bigger companies and more important companies doing things across the globe than any other country does. Now, we have our share of challenges, there's no doubt. You mentioned some of the dysfunction in family and in our schools and what that is breeding. Dana and I talked about this earlier, too. Someone has to talk about education in a more serious way than we've talked about it. And the one thing we don't talk about, you don't hear any of the candidates talking about, is the debt. We talk about it when it's convenient for our argument, then we move right on when we have to talk about solutions. We have a $36 trillion debt, and at some point that will catch up with all of us. Finally, this whole notion of we won't go back, it's going to be interesting to see which one of the candidates, where you're right, Jesse, is which one of the candidates can crystallize that issue more. Will President Trump be able to say to the American people, I'll take you back to what I did, which he thinks was great, and will she be able to say, I won't allow him to take us back to when we have fewer rights? To me, that's the axis I'm going to be looking for, the rhetorical and substantive axis during this debate. And we have a week now to see what happens.
Interesting question.
I'll tell you this, because right now, when we look at the debate, so you're about to see the debate rules are finalized. This is huge. The debate rules are finalized. We know now that Kamala Harris may not even show up at the debate because they couldn't get what they wanted. They couldn't get the open mics. They couldn't get the the sitting down. They couldn't get notes. She wanted to have cheat sheets. She wanted to have her notes that she could reference to for, I don't know what reason. You obviously do this for a living. You should know what the heck you stand for. But here are the final rules. Check it out.
We are 8 days away from the first presidential debate between Donald Trump and Kamala Harris, and the rules are official. The 90-minute debate will have no audience, mics will be muted when the other is speaking, and no written notes will be allowed. Now, it is the exact same agreement set up when it was supposed to be Trump against Joe Biden. Joining us now to break it down is Trump 2024 senior advisor Danielle Alvarez. Danielle, thank you for coming on. So Donald Trump's strategy now going into the debate with Harris. It's just about a week away now. How is it different from his preparation for Biden?
It's actually quite similar. You know, President Trump has been on the campaign trail, keeping an incredibly rigorous schedule, whether it's rallies with tens of thousands of patriots, smaller town halls where he's hitting core policy issues, interviews, press gaggles. I mean, he is prepared for this debate. What he does like to do is sit and have policy conversations with senior advisors or key allies of the campaign to make sure that he is sharp, because when you have that many policy accomplishments and incredible policy plans for the second term, it's in stark contrast to Kamala Harris, who has said that she's going to haul up for about 5 to 8 days prior to the campaign and is going to sit down with her advisors, who I'm sure are going to spoon feed her because they're terrified that she won't have a teleprompter. And as you stated, the debate rules agreed. They tried to have notes, and she will not be allowed to have notes. She will have to stand on her own 2 feet without Mike Walls as a security blanket beside her and talk about her record and talk about the issues. And President Trump is ready for just that.
And just think, President Trump also has some more talking points to go after her about the unrealized gains, tax on unrealized gains, tax price controls on food, and then she just said it a day ago, she wants to give reparations now. So like, this is that whenever she speaks, she is 100% just throwing herself under the bus, because that is not a moderate president. That's not what America stands for. And that's why I believe Donald Trump is going to wipe the floor with her, and we're going to stream it live here on True Life News.
Her emotional security vice president pick blanket. You bring up a great point, though, right? Because right before this debate, Kamala's team wanted to change up some of the rules. And Donald Trump, he's not only fighting against Kamala Harris in this election, he's battling that mainstream media who is just doing whatever Kamala asks them to do. So she wants to change the rules, right? She wants to have notes because she clearly doesn't trust herself to just speak about her accomplishments off the cuff. Maybe because she can't remember where her policy stands now. And she wanted their mics to be unmuted the entire time. I'm not sure why. Maybe she thought she could catch Donald Trump saying something. But then she goes on and she tells the media to start spewing the story that Donald Trump doesn't want to debate her, that he's afraid, when in reality, she was the one who tried to change the rules. How are you guys combating not only this election against Kamala Harris, but also against so much of the media?
You know, it's absolutely disgraceful what Kamala Harris and her camp are trying to do. The reality is that the rules were sent over when ABC and when other networks, which, by the way, she has not agreed to their debates. I'm including NBC and Fox here. But they all sent their rules when they wanted, when they proposed their debates, their dates and their rules, and they all mirrored those CNN rules. And we accepted right away because President Trump is ready to debate. We know that the mainstream media has not held Kamala Harris accountable for her failures. They've not held her accountable for the fact that she does not have policy proposals that are real, that are tangible. She's been very vague. I mean, her entire campaign is something like joy. I don't know how that helps the American people who are suffering with inflation and how that would be articulated in a debate. But we need to hold her accountable. We accepted the debate rules, and it wasn't just that she wanted to change one rule. She wanted to change the entire rule base for the debate, and it included being seated. I mean, I would point out that even Joe Biden was able to hang on to the podium for 90 minutes. She wanted notes, again, I think because her camp is terrified of her going unscripted. We saw how awful that CNN interview was for her, and by the way, she only spoke for about 16 minutes of it. And so she's just terrified to go against Donald Trump. Look, I'll be honest, I don't want to set the bar too low. She is a prosecutor. She's going to haul up for 5 to 8 days. She's going to be in fighting form. But I do have full confidence in President Trump because he delivered a knockout debate performance the first time, and I'm certain he'll be able to do it again.
Yeah, and I'm telling you this, I feel like because of what we've seen, I don't know if you can make that type of stuff up. Like the CNN interview, that was bad. When she speaks and you know she's nervous, her nervous point is she starts laughing. And then anytime that she gets, very, condescending, she starts doing what? She starts smiling, like that evil smile. But look, when we look at the facts, this is all that Donald Trump has to show right here. Under Trump, average mortgage rates 2.77, Kamala 7.75. If Donald Trump just saves this and memorizes this and throws this in her face, he's going to win big time. 385% plus in personal savings versus negative 73 with under Kamala or, Biden. But, they did it together. Negative 11% in credit card delinquencies plus 50% versus on the credit card delinquencies. And then real weekly wages went up 8.2% with Trump, went down 3.9% with Kamala Harris and Biden. To me, it's going to be something that the facts will win out. If Donald Trump just says the facts, then they're going to win. All right, for everybody that's watching to the end, I got something special for you. I hope I don't get copyrighted on this, guys. I think I won't be because it's not the real song or whatnot. So somebody made this song of Donald Trump. It's one of the best things I've ever seen. It's so funny. I hope you enjoy it. Let's go ahead and show it. Let me know your thoughts. Check it out. Because if you know this, if you know the tune, you're a real G.
His mind is gone, but I ain't never gonna stop because we didn't deserve it. They even took some shots, but you know what I'm made of. They monitor your speech and they track your movements. You better watch your thoughts in case they disapprove it. I really hate to trip, but I got on low. Psycho woke, I ducked the bullets and the pistol smoked. Fool, I'm the kind of G the little homies wanna be like on my feet. Yelling fight, taking shots from the scope side. We've been spending most our lives living in the tyrant's paradise.
It's so true.
We've been spending most our lives living in the tyrant's paradise.
I'm telling you what, let me know what you think. That's crazy. I love it. Somebody took the time to do that, use some AI, voice, things like that. I just want to say thank you to everybody that's watching. If you're not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. If you don't mind clicking the thumbs up like button. And also, too, remember, we're going to be working on it. We got to get some merch for the True Life News team community. Thank you to everybody that is a member of the channel and everybody that gives a super chat donation. It truly blesses me and my family. I've shown y'all before. Let me show you again. If you haven't seen, one second. Let me get this for you. Let me see. Let me get it real quick. This is my family. Oh, right here. Let me show you right here. So this is my family, guys. This is who you are supporting. I've got 2 twin babies. Oh, I got 2 twin babies, my 3-year-old toddler, and my beautiful wife. And so that we're real. We're trying to make sure we want the best for our families. We want the best for you. We want to deliver to you the top news. And just want to say thank you. We love every single one of y'all that supports us and allows us to be able to do this. We are here to serve you. And if we can get the dang politicians to start thinking like that too, I promise you we'll have a better America. We love you. We thank you. And we'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.